Okay, next we have Michael Hall, who is our community manager, who's going to give you a little bit of an update. And he's also hanging out in the Slack channel. So once again, hop in and let's make this a interactive conversation. All right, Michael, are you ready?
I am ready, yes. Hey, everybody. My name is Michael Hall. I am the community manager here at InfluxData. And every 6 months at InfluxDays, I like to give an update on the state of the community, provide updates for people who have been here, provide basic information for people who are new. But before I do that, I'm used to doing this as the last talk of the day, but there's still two more after me. But I wanted to give a shout out to the people who made this event possible. That you may not know are the ones responsible for us being here and for you being here. So I want to thank Chris, who's been our host these past 2 days and doing an excellent job on that. Caitlin, who has been running things behind the scenes and just doing an excellent job keeping us all on track and keeping things moving the way they should. Emily, Morea, Alyssa, everybody else on the marketing team who has made InfluxDays possible. Thank you to all of you. Please give them a shout out in the Slack to let them know how much you appreciate both InfluxDays and all the other work that they do. Chances are you wouldn't know about InfluxDB if it weren't for them. I know I wouldn't know about it or even be here if it weren't for the marketing efforts that they put in. So thank you to that whole team. All right, so jumping right in. Who is the InfluxDB community? You may have seen some of us here on Slack, but we are actually very, very large. We've got 16,000 members now who have been in the InfluxData community at some point. That is up 3,000 members from the last time I gave this update back in May. So that's like about 500 new people joining every single month. So part of the reason I do these updates every 6 months is because we do have all these new people who weren't around at the last InfluxDays. We're also up to more than 1,500 contributors. I think Evan mentioned this yesterday at the start of the event. That's an increase of 300 contributors, again, just since the last time I gave this update. That means that almost 2 people every single day are making their first contribution to InfluxData, like constantly. So when I say, we've got hundreds of people joining us every month, I mean that as no exaggeration. We're literally seeing 500 people a month join, 50 people a month making their first contributions. So we are a big community. We're a very active and growing community. We have people from a broad spectrum, from college students who are just getting started. They're in a CS program and they're learning how to do some basic stuff, and they're using InfluxD as one of their projects, all the way up through people who are, they've been doing this for decades. They're teaching it. They're senior level, they're director level, they're founding companies using InfluxDB as a product. So the entire range of ages and experience levels. Again, students, we've got a lot of students. We do internships on a regular basis. We've got a lot of people doing their senior projects or thesis using InfluxDB. And again, we've got people who have been in this for years, who have been working on time series data or IoT since the beginning, who just have huge amounts of experience. And it's great because that means that the people with the experience can mentor and help out the people who are new to it. The people who are new to it are bringing fresh perspectives, bringing in the new technology that maybe some of us haven't used before into the community. So this difference of people who are coming in really keeps it vibrant, keeps it really various, and lets us all learn something no matter what our current experience level is. And we've got people from all kinds of fields. You've seen a bunch of different talks here in the past few days, from people who are monitoring service deployments to Red Hats monitoring their entire network and their network performance, all these IoT talks that we've got going on. And that's represented in the community too. So no matter what industry you're in, whether you're building cars or you're monitoring a website or you're launching satellites into space, there's somebody in the community who's in a similar field to you. So you're going to be able to find people with similar problems and similar needs. And people come from a diversity of backgrounds. Again, I mentioned college students who started this as their career, but we've got a bunch of career switchers too, people who were doing something else and made the change to technology. Maybe they did a boot camp or went back to school, or maybe they just had an interest in it and started learning it, that have come into it. We have people who are just, they're not really talkative, they're not super active in the community, but they do contribute a lot back, either providing answers when they know the answer, or providing bug fixes or feature enhancements to our projects, because we're an open source project and anybody can contribute to that. And we've got people who do that even if they're not looking to have a lot of conversations in our Slack. On the other side, we do have people who really love having those conversations, making those connections, talking to people, learning from them, helping them out. And a lot of people are, they're advancing their careers. We mentioned earlier, I think Ryan mentioned, we try and hire from the community. We love having people who have, been using our product and already know it, that we can hire from. We just hired a new developer advocate, Jay Clifford, on my team, who has been at previous InfluxDays. So he had heard us and seen us talking on here. He's been working on it for a little while on his own, so that made him a great hire. He could come right in and he already had the knowledge and experience. So that's a great thing for people to gain here. And not just to work for us, a lot of these other companies that are in our community that are contributing back are also hiring. So it's a great way for you to meet people, make those potential connections also. All right, so that's who we are. Now let's talk a little bit about where we are, starting with where we are online. We have a variety of different platforms that we use on a regular basis. The big three are GitHub, which is where all of our source code is. So if you go to github.com/InfluxData, you'll find all of our repos and all of our open source code there. Our public Slack, which is Influx community. Well, if you go to influxdata.com/Slack, you can get an invite there if you're not already in. If you're not already in our Slack, I don't know what you've been doing these past 2 days, because you're missing all the great conversations that we're having there. We do use it on a regular basis, not just for InfluxDays. We do a lot of support there. We talk to a lot of our users, get feedback from them, help them through their problems, announce new things that we're working on. We've had experts in the Slack the past couple days to answer people's questions, but we've got engineers in this Slack all the time. They're all the time there answering questions. They want to talk to users and find out what people are doing, see what's been hard for them, what features they'd like added to make their job easier. It's just a great place to get that direct one-on-one conversations with people who are actually building the project. We've also got forums. We've got a discourse forums over at community.influxdata.com where you can get support. It's a great way to post questions, get answers, and then have those answers available for people later on. The Slack, it's good for talking to people, but a lot of times an answer will just kind of disappear over time there. So the discourse forums are a great place for support to happen, because that'll stick around longer and help more people out. It's also now being pulled into our unified support platform on support.influxdata.com. So questions that are answered, no matter who's answering them on our forums, that can get pulled into our support forums and help people out. And we do have a lot of people in the community who are answering questions there and providing support. So that's a big resource for us and for our community. We also have a lot of people active on Stack Overflow. There's several tags on Stack Overflow that people use: InfluxDB, InfluxDB2, Telegraph, FlexLang. And again, a lot of people from the community who are on there just all the time answering questions. We have a lot of follow us on Twitter. If you follow InfluxDB on Twitter, you'll get updates from us there. You'll be able to interact with us. There's also a Reddit. It's /r/InfluxDB. It's not as active as a lot of these other platforms, but it is there. If you're a Redditor, you can find us there also. My clicker back up. There we go. And my clicker's not working. There we go. All right. So that was where we are online. As for where we are in the real world, we are on almost every continent that there is. I have not heard of anybody running InfluxDB in Antarctica, but it wouldn't surprise me if there is. But I do know that we have people from every other continent: the Americas, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia. We've got people all over in all kinds of different time zones. Most of us for InfluxData are in the US and Europe, so we're in those time zones. That's when you'll see most of us active in the Slack. But no matter what time of day you join the Slack, you'll find somebody online and active. And one day I'm going to get to turn Antarctica green as soon as somebody tells me that they've got InfluxDB running there, or somebody there who's using it. All right, so that's who we are and where we are. But what is it that we do as a community? Well, the first thing we do is that we work together. Again, we're an open source project. That's our primary goal, is we want to share the work that we're doing. We want to collaborate with other people. So our code is all up on GitHub. Anybody can take a look at it. Anybody can make improvements to it. We list all of our issues there so people can pick one that they want to fix. All of our documentation also is up on GitHub. I posted the link earlier. Somebody mentioned it. But all the documentation is in Markdown on GitHub and is open for anybody who wants to contribute some better documentation, or even just fixing a typo. Like little changes that just make it a little bit more readable is a great way to contribute back. And then also just hoping promote the work that we're all doing. We announce anytime we've got new features or new releases coming out. We love to hype up and promote the work that other people are doing using InfluxDB or any of our projects. So if you let us know about any of that, we are happy to broadcast that, reshare that on Twitter or whatever to promote that. Even writing blog posts for us. We have guest authors write for our blog all the time, whether something that they're working on or a new way to use InfluxDB that they want to share. We also lead together. This is something that I'm trying to push more and more. Having people in the community start taking leadership positions, taking ownership in some of these projects to help drive it forward. So it's not just InfluxData doing that. And a great example of that is our Telegraph team. We've got a Telegraph maintainers team that is a mix of InfluxData staff and community contributors. We launched them right at about a year ago now, and they've just been doing a phenomenal job. They've added a bunch of new plugins to Telegraph. They've done a bunch of fixes, burned through a bunch of PRs, and that team is just absolutely rocking that project, and it is doing phenomenally now. We also have a lot of community contributors to our Helm charts. So that's our cloud deployment setups. We provide those and maintain them, but we also have a lot of people who have been helping us improve them over the years to make them better for everybody. And that's, again, another project where we've got a lot of community contributions coming in. Our forums are another cross-collaboration project. We have several members who have been active on our forums who are admins there now, so they're helping us with moderation. They'll help us with setting up new categories and expanding the forums as we go. So we're really trying to share the responsibility over the project. And then we've got our InfluxAces, who have been our main champions for a while. They go out and give talks and webinars about InfluxDB and other conferences. They'll do. They used to run all of our time series meetups back before COVID, when we were still able to do in-person meetups. And have just really been our brand ambassadors and technology ambassadors out to places that we're just not able to reach because we are still a relatively small company. Red Hat earlier showed that they are almost 40,000 employees. Influx is a tiny fraction of that. We've got I think less than 200 people still working at InfluxData. So we rely heavily on our community members and our champions like the ACEs to help us, spread the word in places that we just don't have the resources or capacity to reach. We also support each other. In addition to contributing to the projects themselves, contributing to our users and each other is a great thing that the community does. That's providing support on Stack Exchange or Slack, answering questions on our forums, helping people out on Reddit. Anytime that we can help somebody, and again, that's not just InfluxData staff who want to help, it's our users and everybody else in our community too. So we love to be able to do that. We also just get to know each other. One of the nice things about having a public Slack is we can just use it to chat about what other people are working on, get to know what their project is, what their company is, what they're working on, even if it's hobby projects. Just getting to know other people, building those connections, making those friendships. I've got a lot of friends. I've been in open source for over a decade now, and I've got some really good friends that I've made just from getting to know them in the community for whichever project we were both involved in. So I do really encourage you in the Slack, just start talking to people and get to know them. They will build friendships that will last long after whatever project you're working on right now is. So if all of that sounds good to you, you want to be a part of this large, growing, active community, what can you do to join us? First thing you should do is try us. If you're not already running InfluxDB, go grab the latest download of the OSS version. You can get the binary or the Docker, or you can sign up for our cloud account. Again, that is free, so you can start using it there just to familiarize yourself with what InfluxDB is. You've seen a lot of talks this past couple days, seen a lot of screenshots from it, but if you haven't used it, it may not all make sense to you. So just getting it and using it is the best way to get started. We've got a bunch of community templates. These are pre-packaged setups for InfluxDB that you can just like 1 or 2 click install on your setup. And you'll start getting data, and you'll have graphs, and you'll have tasks. So you can get like real world examples of what you can do with InfluxDB. We have, I think, like 65 of those now. Most of them were contributed by people in the community. A lot of them by somebody who was in the community and has since been hired because he contributed so many good templates to us. And also try out Telegraph. A lot of those templates use Telegraph, but you can use it on its own too. There's like 500 or something different plugins that you can use for different data sources and different data destinations. So whatever your use case is, you can use Telegraph for that. And again, familiarizing yourself with the tools is the first step to being able to engage with the community, give back to those projects, answer questions when you can. So once you're familiar with them, again, join us on the Slack. If you're not there already, please join there. Talk to us there. All of our engineers, experts who have been on the past couple days answering questions will continue to be on there. I'll be on there. The entire developer relations team is there. And we're always happy to chat. Again, it doesn't have to be about helping you with something. If you just want to chat, shoot the breeze, talk about something cool you found, that's a great place to do that. Our forums are, like I said, a great place to ask questions and be able to help other people out there in a way that's going to last longer than in Slack. And then join us for events. These InfluxDays we do twice a year are a great way to get a lot of information very quickly to get you up and going. Like I said earlier, I hired somebody who's been coming to these InfluxDays for a year and a half now, so it's a great foot in the door there too. And when we start our time series meetups again, once COVID kind of fades away and we're able to start doing them again, finding one that's near you and attending those events, or if there's not one near you and you want to start one, let us know. We're happy to support you in getting that off the ground and running those events. And once you're in the community, the best way to participate is to ask for help if you need help. Most people who are new to it and are learning, they've got questions, and the community is a great resource for you to get those answers. And then as you start to get better at it, learn more about it, and build up your own knowledge base, sorry, you'll be able to answer questions too. And we encourage everybody who can provide an answer or thinks they can provide an answer to just go ahead and start trying to help people. You don't need to ask permission. You don't need to reach a certain level of anything to be able to answer a question. Just if you know the answer, give them the answer. Help them out. Unblock them so that they can keep building whatever awesome thing they're building. And when you're doing that, be curious about what they're building. Ask them more information about it, even if it's not necessary for support. Just show them that you're interested. You might find some cool project that you never would have known about otherwise that someone's working on. And most importantly, when you're in the community, just be yourself. You don't have to represent your company. You're not speaking with a brand voice. We really want to know you as an individual. We want to help you and learn about you personally, not your project or your company. So come in, be yourself. Be nice, be kind to everybody that you meet. And when you get to the point where you're ready to contribute back, the door is always open for that. Whether that's code contributions to any of our open source projects, we've got contributing guides in all of them that will walk you through the process of getting that code up. We've got friendly staff who will review your PRs and help you get them ready to merge and get those out the door. Documentation, again, is a great way to contribute back as you're learning and you're reading our docs. If you notice something that's not quite clear, or we've got a typo or a grammatical error, you jump right into our docs repo and contribute a fix back to that. Any integrations that you would find useful for what you're working on that you can give back? Like a Telegraph plugin that's pulling in data from an IoT device your company is working on, or is going to push data out to a service that your company is building. If you can contribute those as open source back to the Telegraph project, that will help all of your users who want to be able to use Telegraph to bring data in. Supporting people is, again, a great way for our community to give back, and it's one of the top ways that they currently do. We have so many people giving support to each other in Slack and Discord, on Stack Overflow. It's like twice or more as many community people doing that as we have staff at Influx to do it. So that's a huge help in keeping our community thriving, keeping our users unblocked and able to continue working on what they're working on. And lastly, when you're ready, step up to a leadership position. I mentioned some of the ways that people have been doing that earlier already, but you're not limited to those. If you see an area where you think you can take the lead on a project or an improvement and you want to do that, please let us know. We're happy to get more people in taking those kind of critical roles and driving things forward. So it's open to anything that you want to be a part of. Just let me know on Slack. Join our Slack, find me on there, and tell me what you're interested in doing. And when you're here, set an example. The biggest thing I always say is be thankful whenever somebody is trying to help you. I'm really, really happy about how appreciative our community is to each other. That's one of the things that I keep a watch on, just making sure that whenever somebody's gotten help, someone's telling them thank you. And our community is really, really good about that. They're always super positive and super supportive and helpful and kind to people. And we like to keep it that way. And encourage people. A lot of times when someone comes in with a difficult problem, they're feeling kind of frustrated, worn down. They've maybe been working on it for hours already. Encourage them to keep going, that we'll find a solution, that we can get them unblocked and get them on their way to where they wanted to go. And then when they do, or when you see somebody who's published a blog post or released a new project that's they're really proud of, celebrate that. Tell them how awesome it is. Help them promote it. Put it on your Twitter or your LinkedIn. Help build each other up. It's a great thing that we already do, and I would love to see more of. All right, so that is our community. I do have some awards and announcements that I want to do before I wrap up my session. The first of them is our InfluxData Community Awards. This is our second time doing this, and I'm really, really happy about this. Because these awards are for members of our community coming from nominations, both from the community and from InfluxData. So people who we've seen them doing really good stuff. They've been contributing something back that's been really useful. So we have 5 different categories, just like we did last year. The community category is for anybody who's broadly contributed to the community and provided support or promotion or done a lot of outreach for the community. We have a Flex Award, which goes to anybody who has contributed significant features or provided a lot of support for the Flux programming language. We've got the Telegraph Award for somebody who's been contributing to the Telegraph project, either the core itself or the plugins or support or blog posts. And then the InfluxDB Award, which is for anybody who's contributed to the core database itself and that core functionality. And the last one is the Founder's Choice Award. And that gives our founder and CTO, Paul Dix, who you saw yesterday, It gives him a chance to personally recognize somebody who's just made outstanding contributions to the community. So without further ado, this is what the trophy looks like, by the way. Everybody who wins is going to get this nice little acrylic trophy with their name engraved in it and everything. So it's really nice. You set it on your shelf or your desk at work. So the winner this year for the Telegraph Award goes to Sven Rayban, who is a member of our Telegraph maintainers team. He's been a huge help on that team, kind of shepherding the way that the project's going, helping people with PRs for plugins all the time. You've seen him on Slack even the past couple days. He's been super active helping people out. So it's no surprise at all that that Sven got multiple nominations for the Telegraph Awards. So thank you, Sven, and congratulations. The Flux Award this year goes to a member who has provided more support than anybody else in the community, answering people's Flux questions and helping them write their Flux scripts. So that award is going to Desmond Hoken, who is also on our forums leadership team, helping us manage the forums. So both helping run them and answering questions, not just in Flux. He's answered questions all across the board there. But he's the standout person for Flux. So congratulations, Desmond. The InfluxDB award this year is going to go to Tristan Su, who has been making PRs for bug fixes and feature enhancements to InfluxDB just kind of on a regular basis for years now. We don't hear from him too much in the Slack, but he is just always there in GitHub, helping us improve the database itself. So congratulations to you, Tristan. And the Community Award this year, again with multiple nominations, goes to Jorge de la Cruz, who has done blog posts and webinars and helps us all the time answering questions about Grafana and Grafana setups. He is also one of our Influx Aces, who has been super active in the Aces program for a long time. So congratulations to Jorge. And last but certainly not least, our Founder's Choice Award goes to somebody who has been active supporting people all across the projects, from the database itself to helping them with Flux scripts to helping them with Telegraph configurations. He has just been all over our Slack in helping people and super active. So Paul has chosen Jamie Milton for the Founder's Choice Awards. So congratulations, Jamie. Again, those winners are Sven for Telegraph, Desmond Hoken for Flux, Tristan Su for InfluxDB, Jorge de la Cruz for the Community Award, and Jamie Milton for the Founder's Choice. So please tag them in the Slack, tell them congratulations. Let's celebrate this win for them and thank them for all the work that they've done. All right, I also wanted to let you know about something new we're trying out this year. We've posted a link a couple times in the chat, and Caitlin, if you could post that the link again. We're trying to use this new tool called Orbit to introduce people to each other and give them a chance to do some one-on-one conversations that we're calling coffee chats. And what this is going to do, if you follow the link, it'll ask you some questions about your use of our tools like InfluxDB, Capacitor, Telegraph, and what your availability is for just a short 1 hour Zoom call with somebody else in the community. And then they're going to pair people up with similar interests who have overlapping availability, arrange for them to have a Zoom call, provide you some basic questions to kind of kick it off and get to know each other. And we're hoping this tool just kind of spurs some additional networking, gives people some opportunity to meet other people in the community and figure out what they're doing and kind of build some of those bonds and relationships within the community. This is our first time trying it, so we're interested to see where it goes. If it works out, we'll do this more with future events. But I do encourage you all to sign up for that and let us know how it goes for you. We'd like to hear back. And lastly, usually in these, I announce the next InfluxDays, days and time zones. Um, the past 2 years now, we've done only virtual InfluxDays, which was a necessity because of the pandemic. But as the vaccines are going out, the virus numbers hopefully will start going down. We're all kind of hopeful that come next year, maybe we won't have to all be stuck at home anymore. But we're kind of taking it a day at a time to see how it goes. So we're not really sure what we're going to do for InfluxDays next year. We are planning on doing something different if things allow, and we will be announcing that as soon as we have some more solid answers for you on that. We are going to do something. We just don't know what or when just yet. So stay tuned. Be involved in the community, and you will hear about that as soon as we have something to share. All right. Thank you, everybody. That's the community update. Again, stick around in the Slack, stick around in the forums. We are here all the time, not just for InfluxDays, and we continue these conversations going on well after today and this week. All right, so let's go to the questions. Somebody says InfluxDB is running in Antarctica. So whoever posted that, please find me on Slack, tell me about it, because I want to update that slide and get all of those continents green. That is awesome news. So thank you so much. The next one is also about InfluxDB in Antarctica. Going back to version 1.3.5. Wow. Okay. So again, yes, please find me on Slack and give me the details of that so I can include it next time around. All right, and with that, I am done, and I will hand it back to Chris. Thank you, everyone.
So, Michael, does that mean that InfluxDays is in Antarctica? Maybe that's the big surprise, huh? All right.
I will let you ask Evan for that.
Well, I'll have to take a boat there, and I heard that that trip down there is not pleasant.
I'd still
All right.
go.
Yeah. Well, we'll all go watch the penguins, right?